Order in the court.
Okay, this is a unfortunate case that I am actually just now hearing about, and it is out of Thibodaux, Louisiana. Her name is Kajiana Butler. She is, now they said 26, and I also saw she was 21. So she's in her 20s, and she had apparently had the Human Police Department go and do a welfare check where her daughter was. Her daughter was in the care at that time of the father, Jake Guidry, and he is 26. So the police would go on down to 618 Brule Galat Street or Drive, and they would speak to Jake Guidry. He just bluntly told them that he had hit his 11-month-old daughter too hard. The baby was in the back seat of his SUV. Now, Guidry was not expecting the police to come, to my knowledge. So, I guess the police was wondering why this child was in the back seat of the SUV. Her name is Zabria, and she was deceased. And the police are saying that she was deceased for about 10 hours by this time. They immediately had arrested him. So, what I'm not understanding before I continue, she's 11-month-old. Why is she being hit? That this was too hard. I don't get that, but okay. And she's a little girl, and she had gotten hit too hard. He's a grown man. Even though these young people aren't acting like they're grown, he's a grown man. So why is he hitting her at all? Babies cry. They cry when they're wet. They cry when they're hungry. They cry when they want you to hold them. They cry when they see you're busy and they just want your attention. This is what they do. But this is what he did. So, and this happens now on September 28th, 2021. It was shortly after midnight that Guidry had got arrested. Okay, 2 weeks later, Kajiana, she gets arrested. Now, she had told them, that she had no knowledge of anything. That's what she told the police, 2 weeks ago when they had arrested Guidry. She said she had no knowledge of anything that's been going on. But they arrested her October 10th, 2021, first on principle, and then they arrested her on second-degree murder charges as they did Guidry. The police said that they made this decision to arrest Kajiana Butler, after reading the autopsy reports about Zabria. The coroner had found that Zabria's death didn't happen over one hard hit, like Guidry just repeatedly keeps saying. They said it had happened over a span of a several-week period. They called it battered infant syndrome. So basically, this baby was being abused for several weeks consistently, when that last time, the baby's body couldn't take it anymore, and she ended up passing away. Now, I don't know if Kajiana had inflicted any pain on this child at all during these weeks that this baby was going through this battered infant syndrome, but she was there. That's what the police are saying in the article that I'm going to put in the description box if you just want to see it for yourself. But she was there the entire time, each time that he would do this to the child. Now, one thing I couldn't really understand is where she was at, making the welfare check. That's what I I didn't understand. And sometimes I do a little bit more snooping than I need to. The house that they are at, I see it's under his mom's name. So I don't know if he went to his mom's house. That's me speculating now. And he took the child over there. I'm not sure. But they wasn't really saying, too much about, how the call was placed, really. But the police ultimately, went there and arrested him. And the little girl was dead in the back of his truck. So, and they have a $1 million bail. So these two, they really aren't going to be going anywhere anytime soon, if ever. And, I like to do a lot of snooping around to see if I could figure out some things. So I did go on Facebook to see if I could figure out something. And I don't know if Guidry ever had a Facebook page because he is not on there at all. She has several Facebook pages. The last one she has, the more current one, has a picture of them both. And as I got just looking through the page, because she did subliminal texts that you can obviously tell was towards anybody that was, in her life, that was in her love life, so to speak. I could see that, there was a little frustration there. They seem to be a young couple. I think they have 2 kids right now, but 2 kids, 1 child and the one that passed, but they had 2 kids from what I can see. And it seems to be, like I said, some frustration there. And yet, they're adding on to the frustration. She's pregnant. I don't know how far along she was pregnant, but she is currently in jail right now pregnant. So this might have been their 3rd child on the way. Oh, boy. I mean, I also seen a post that was just, I was like, wow, because I had literally just finished working on this story about the little 2-year-old girl, Neaveah Allen, also out of Louisiana. And allegedly, her mother had hit her so hard because the little girl had grabbed her contacts while the mother was trying to get ready for work. And then she would leave for work. And then a few hours later, the little baby fell unconscious. And the boyfriend, not the father, the boyfriend decides to put this baby girl in a suitcase and drive her across state lines and dump her in a dumper. I actually did that story too. I will leave it in the description box if you don't know what I'm talking about, but I actually did that story too. I'm like, wow, isn't it ironic? And she posted that 2 days before her own baby girl would succumb. I apologize if you hear my heat in the back. It's a little nippy here in Georgia. I also would like to add, and I hate to try to school people, but if young people are listening, and I hate to school people because, man, I really wasn't a model young person. I wasn't. Oh my goodness, I was not, okay? But when you get older, you see things. You see things. And the more and more, I've been doing these stories for some years now. I've only had my YouTube page for, some months, but I've been doing these type of stories and reading about these type of stories for some years. And unfortunately, a lot of young people are just being stirred in the wrong direction. I sometimes will just go and look at, young people's timelines, even if it's a guy in their 20s. a guy will be like, wow, I don't have any kids, and I'm like 23. It's like, okay, you don't need none. Like you really don't need any children. Like there are other things to do. You don't need children right now. There's so many things you could do. I'm not trying to take away your partying time. Party, date, have fun. That's what you're supposed to be doing. Towards maybe like your early 30s, start to think about, maybe settling down if that's what you want to do, and on the side of you having fun, the way the world is now, start to try to keep a little account and throw something in it every now and then, like really, oh goodness gracious. A lot of people said, seriously, I need to start to, counsel young people, especially, young girls, because if you heard my story, y'all be like, oh my God, look at you. But, and I'm not going to lie, every now and then, I still have some type of frustration, but I know how to handle it now. My child is adult. He's an adult now. You know what I mean? He's an adult. And it actually seems that I'm still in my 20s. With things that go on in my life, but I'm not, but it's like, and how they have, okay, how can I say this? How you're supposed to, okay? You're supposed to, go to school, go to college, but college is not for everybody, but you're supposed to, get married, and, then you're supposed to, have the child, and a lot of times, some people say, I don't want to get married. We're going to just be together. We're going to love each other. And we're going to, I get that. But marriage is a security. If you are a woman, marriage is a security for you. It really is. When it comes to the man in your life, it has, a lot of people say, it's a spiritual and religious thing. But it's also, seriously, it's a security for a lot of things. When you're married, if you're in a relationship, you can't have government assistance. I mean, there's ways around that, but that's a whole nother story. But, you're not supposed to have government assistance unless, you file and sometimes you need it. Sometimes a couple is going through something and the husband is there. But it's security for the children too as well, and to know if this man is actually ready to move on, because I see young girls having multiple kids by multiple men, and you're following probably what you've seen your mom do, not necessarily your grandmother. She probably was married. But you're following in that footstep. And right now, man, the world is so crazy. It's so hard right now. And a lot of these children are passing away from sheer neglect, is what I'm saying. Sheer neglect. And yeah, you could be married and still have, a child die of sheer neglect. I've seen that too. But more of these cases are because it's young people that are really doing grown people things. I know you guys feel grown, but you have so much learning to do. If I could redo things seriously about me having my child mad young, I wouldn't change a thing. I really wouldn't when it came to that part. But I only have the one. But I wouldn't change a thing. What I wish I would have done, because I didn't even have my child in my 20s. I had my child way younger than my 20s. I'm going to just leave it at that. But I wish that I would have, when I was in my 20s, started to bank, started to save. I could have still kicked it with my friends. I was going to do that anyway. But, I wish I would have put aside something. I wish maybe I would have started my education earlier. I did finally graduate from college with a psychology degree. But I just wish I could have did things slightly different. Never wish I would have had my child a little bit older or had my child with another person. Never wish that. And, me and my child's father, we don't even communicate. We haven't communicated since I left, New York. So, and that's when my baby was very small. We haven't communicated, so that's not the problem. I managed, I did it, I'm proud of myself. I did it. But, I'm not going to say, it wasn't a struggle for me. My son, he didn't see it. He didn't see no struggles. Us women have a way of hiding stuff. But, it was kind of strong. I had sad moments. I had angry moments. I had frustrated moments. But a lot of times this comes from because we're too young and we don't know where the next move is. I don't really want to, I can be here all day with this. I'm so sorry. But I think a lot of this situation comes from the fact that these people were just young with this story right here. Jake, Guidry, and Kajiana. I think, okay, if they were married, would this be different? I don't know. But it's not just solely that. It's not just solely that. I just think that they were young. It was very, and by any chance, I'm not trying to stick up for no murderers. Oh, hell no. Hell no, I'm not ever going to try to stick up for no murderers in this type of case. No. But again, they have, I think they already had a toddler, and then they have the little girl, and then she's pregnant. Money's tight. Right now, we're in the middle of a pandemic. I don't know if any one of them are working. A lot's going on to where you have to keep beating a child. I don't know. Maybe I'm trying to rationalize and trying to figure out why the hell are you hitting a 11-month-old, but okay, I'm going to end this, but, that's just my thoughts. That is just my thoughts. And it's a shame that this little girl isn't here. And it's a shame that this woman, maybe stood by and watched this, and now she is in jail. But if she did that, if she watched, she's where she needs to be. But she's pregnant, and she'll be having that baby in there, so someone has to get this child, so hopefully, there's some stand-up people in her family or his family that want to get this kid. I don't know. It's the whole damn thing is sad, man. It just really is. So justice for Zabria. I feel like this. I don't mean to black out on this case, but this whole week, I am doing cases involving children. I do it anyway, but this whole week I'm dedicating it to the kids, and you'll understand why I'm so frustrated right now. I swear I wish I could get a house as big as the sky and put all the unwanted children in it and just really be their mother. Be their freaking mother. I don't know what else, but all right, you guys, be easy.